Michael, first off, what do you make of this news? Do you believe it?
Well, it's not new news, Susan. We've certainly heard talk before of the potential of a tie-up between Rio and Alcoa. However, it seems to be sparked by recent very heavy activity in the options market for Alcoa. We've seen more than 58,000 contracts trade in very short-dated maturities. That's a move by option traders that suggests that they're expecting a very short, sharp move. We're also hearing talk from debt markets that a line of $25 billion has been put together by a couple of banks to fund this acquisition. Now, we saw the shares in Alcoa spike enormously overnight, up more than 4% at one stage, but when one of those banks came out and denied that it was in fact involved in putting together a funding line, the shares fell back to finish up only 2.7%. Personally, I don't think this deal is likely, remembering that Rio owns Alcan. They're the second and third largest aluminium producers, and I think that that would present real antitrust problems for this deal.
Yeah, and it seems that I guess the market was just expecting Rio to go after smaller targets instead of big ones like Alcoa.
Yes, well, particularly given the problems they've had in digesting Alcan, remembering they took on about $40 billion worth of debt to make the $37 billion acquisition at the peak of the market, and then suffered through the GFC as debt situations became much tighter. I think that they would be cautious around that. However, strategically, there is some sense in them now doubling down in buying at a lower price and in better funding conditions to consolidate those businesses. It's not an impossible point from their strategic point of view. As I say, they're very difficult for US regulators to give this one a pass.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Mike. If you don't think this deal is going to go through, are you going to maybe put some shorts on these options contracts that everyone else is buying?
Well, I never like to stand in the way of a runaway train, Susan, and that's what this one looks like at the moment. That elevated volume to me suggests that there could be something going on in this stock. And if it's not Rio, it's not impossible there could be somebody else running the ruler over this business. If the talk at the moment was that BHP were considering the acquisition, I'd be much more inclined to run with that. It would make much more sense from the point of view of their global portfolio of assets. They certainly are underrepresented in aluminium compared to the other majors around the globe. And although they have stated that they're looking to expand their internal capex and look at organic growth, if they could do a deal here, if they believe they could, I think it's one they would consider.
Okay.